Greetings, peace and blessings, everyone. How are y'all doing today? Happy Monday. Today is the day that the moon governs, and I am really trying something new here because I've learned that I can't get into I can no longer download my videos from. I can no longer download my videos that I make on Instagram, download them to my phone, and then upload them to YouTube. So now I have to do two separate videos. So here I am. I have my phone here and I have my computer here. And, this is how the world is. We're just always opening up to new possibilities. So, again, like I said, happy Monday. Today is the day that the moon governs, and the moon is currently in Capricorn. And, and Capricorn is the energy that is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is currently in Aquarius. And so, one of the things that's really fun and fascinating about learning energy and following energy and reading energy is that it really is a spectrum. It's not an all or nothing kind of thing. It's like, a tide that rolls in and a tide that rolls out. Like I know when I spend a lot of time at the beach generally, and there can be times where I go where I'm really far in the sand, where the ocean is, the tide is far away from me. And then gradually it'll come up and then it'll go back and then it'll come up even further and then go back and then it'll go back further and up and until finally it comes to meet me where I am. And that's how energy works. It's not a all or nothing kind of thing. It's a gradual process. And so there's so many facets moving all at one time. And with the moon in Capricorn, like I'm saying, the moon in Capricorn governs the father. Capricorn governs the paternal power, that external force that is needed in order to bring things into manifestation. Capricorn and right now, Venus is in Capricorn, so we are about to have starting December 19th, we're going to have a Venus retrograde that happens in Capricorn. And this is going to be really tremendous because we just had this Mercury retrograde that through Libra that really impacted our relationships. But you have to think of it from the inside out and not from the outside in, right? Because the energy is internal. The relationships that you are in, the people that are in your life are there because you have an internal frequency that matches them. That's why they're there. And so whether you like them or enjoy them or, whatever it is, there's an internal frequency inside of you that draws that person to you. And so, as we did this Mercury retrograde in Libra, which was also Venus ruled, and Venus was in Scorpio, we went to the depths of our connections to others. Like, why? Why am I drawn to this person? Why am I married to this person? Why did I bring this child into the world with this type of personality? Like, these are all deeper aspects. What's happening in the external reality is reflecting a deeper aspect of you. And so as Venus, as our relationships are going through retrogrades with the Mercury and retrograde, going to the deeper level of why we are in relationships, the meaning of our connections to the people that we're connected to. And then as Venus goes through Capricorn, it really is asking us to to really come back to our own authority, right? Like, so we have been conditioned in a culture that has us really value patriarchal wisdom, right? Because every God has been made in the image of a man. All of our justice system, everything is paternal and masculine in our culture, and the feminine has a very small. She has a huge role, but the story about feminine power is not told accurately. So the power is often mismanaged. I was telling you guys yesterday that I have been watching, yesterday, I spent the weekend watching The Godfather. And what I was so aware of, I've never watched this movie. So first of all, my parents were like Godfather fanatics, the way I'm a Game of Thrones fanatic. And I remember my parents going renting a limousine and all their friends coming over and dressing up, and they all went to see The Godfather in Hollywood. And so I just had never watched it because it didn't seem interesting to me, but I sat down and watched it this weekend and really discovered like what happens when feminine energy is not equitable in alignment with masculine energy. What happens when we are not really allowing the feminine, which is really just our internal. It's not feminine and masculine ultimately is not about, or initially is not about gender at all. It's about energy, right? So when we are allowing our energies, our internal energy and our external energy to really flow and work together, then we have more balance. But I was looking at this film and I was like, wow, this film is all about a patriarchal leader, and what happened when there was no feminine energy is just murder and death and destruction, because the masculine men don't have access to the internal world in the same way that women do. As women, our internal power is stronger, more expansive, more creative, more dynamic than that of men. And men have a greater external power than women do. They have more strength, they have more agility, they can run faster. But it's not that women can't do it. We just have to practice more to access that. So I was just, that's where our culture is. Our culture has really just been out of balance, where we have given more power to the external. We have literally looked externally and it's like, oh, that person has a gun. So you literally give in to them because there is a gun, and you don't honor what's going on within you, which is your feminine energy. So as Venus is coming through Capricorn and going to retrograde, we are going to have a retrograde that is conjunct Pluto, that begins conjunct Pluto. So we already know that the patriarchal power is beginning to diminish. The patriarchal power, as it has been previously, where we are more enamored, more dazzled by external things, the patriarchal power is going to break down, and we are going to need to go inside and be more aligned to internal things. And so we have this opportunity with the moon in Capricorn to begin to feel our own emotions. Um, we have this opportunity to begin to feel our own emotions, to feel what's happening within us, to trust our own feelings. I'm sorry, on Instagram, I was cut off for whatever reason, so I'm starting again. But we have to begin to trust our own internal nudges, our own emotions, our feelings, our internal world. We have to begin to spend time with ourselves. Hi, Sharon. That's why we're moving into the age of the rising feminine in men and women. Yes, I think it's why there's more. So let's see. My live isn't working here. Okay, so I'm just trying to work out what's going on here on Instagram. Okay. So and while we have the moon in Capricorn, sorry I got cut off here on Instagram. And if you guys want to see the entire video from the beginning, you can go to YouTube and watch it on my YouTube channel. But while we have Venus in Capricorn and the moon just moved into Capricorn, this is the beginning of this energy of beginning to take our own external power back, beginning to own our own authority. And we see it happening in our culture where, we're having mandates happen and things are being, forced upon people if they want. And those forcing something upon you is asking you to ignore your feelings. It's asking you to ignore what you feel and what you think and not take the time that you need. And this is the energy that is beginning to break down. When we were children, you had to go to school whether you wanted to or not, generally, right? I know I had to go to church whether I wanted to or not. You had to learn to ignore your feelings. And many of us have done that in a culture that is really based on white supremacy and racism. As brown or black people, we have ignored how we felt in certain circumstances. Even though things may have been feeling bad, you had to still push through and do it anyway. Ignoring your feelings, right? Ignoring your internal experience to justify your external experience. Sorry, you guys, I was cut off, so I'm coming back now. So here's this opportunity where the moon is moving through Capricorn, and this is a moon day for us to begin to pay attention to your internal reality. Pay attention to what's going on inside of you. How do you feel? When you're with a certain person, take your time and breathe and feel into your body. And do you have certain feelings that come up when you're with particular people? Do you feel like you can be true to yourself? Do you feel like you have to bend? Do you feel pressured? Do you feel suppressed? Pay attention to the energies, because we're moving into a time where we're going to need to be able to understand energy more than we understand anything else. We're going to need to be able to see with our inner eye. And the inner eye isn't looking at the external things. The inner eye is looking at the invisible, unseen, mystical things. And that world is 90% of our reality, and you can't see it. You cannot see it. So you have to attune yourself to the energies. You have to attune yourself to how the energies interact with you. And so today is a moon day. The moon governs the internal world. The moon governs the mother, the maternal energy, the internal energy. We create our external world with our internal energy. Venus has moved into Capricorn. We're getting ready to prepare for a Venus retrograde. The moon is also in Capricorn. Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2007, and Pluto is moving into its retrograde, not its retrograde, into its Pluto return, where it will be where it hasn't been in 270 years when America was first born. So what's happening is the constructs that created this agreement that is America is beginning to come undone. And what that is, if you've studied history or know anything about history, one of the major things about our culture is that we have a culture based upon predatory practices. And the initiating offense of that is that they come to a land that wasn't theirs, where they didn't create agreements for everyone to live and abide in harmony, and they took the land. So that's the first agreement, that is, it has to be reconciled. And we see that the land, because the land is alive, America, the country is alive. The earth, not the country, because it's not about the name of the country, but the soil, it's a living sentient being. The earth is completely alive, right? So those things that weren't honored begin to break down. The next thing they did was they bought Africans here for free labor, and they never realigned, they never paid the debt, they never honored it, right? So those energies are still present in that way, and they have to begin to break down. So those energies come back to where they were originally originated from. So as the moon is in Capricorn and Venus is in Capricorn, we want to really begin to come back to our own authority, our own power, and look at the ways that you have negotiated, being a child in your life. Like, one of the things I loved about having an infant was that I could just pick him up and take him wherever I wanted to go. He couldn't say no. He couldn't ask why. He couldn't do anything. The only real power he had was that he wouldn't eat anything. Like, he had control over what he swallowed. But I had complete power over him. And in many ways, many of us have been acting in our lives where we do things in the way that we did as children just because we were conditioned into it. We haven't asked the questions yet. We haven't said no. We haven't. So this is the time that we want to begin to ask questions of ourselves. One of the things that annoys me, I'm like, why do black people pay motherfucking taxes in this country? We built this motherfucker from nothing. And we pay taxes. It doesn't even make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense. So, you have to ask, why do I believe this? Why do I do this? Why do we have this Monday through Sunday? Why do we work 40 hours a week? All these are constructs. What is why do we take this medicine? Well, all of these are things that have come out of the patriarchal power structure that is the Western world. And all we have to do is begin to ask why and see how you feel about it. Because if it feels okay for you, then it's okay. You are aligned. But if it doesn't feel okay, then you are misaligned. You are misaligned. Yes. So the opportunity is to really, while the moon is in Capricorn, begin to feel, and the sun in Scorpio, go deeper into, like, what is it that you're really feeling, and feel the energy and question it. Who are you? What are you? What do you feel? Because Scorpio is, the veil is really thin. Yesterday, I could hear chimes playing in my environment. And I was aware that I was so close to the veil that I could hear some music from another dimension, right? That's how thin the veil is here in Scorpio. So you want to listen and ask questions. Why and what am I feeling? And is this an ancestral pattern, or is this something that I bought into this lifetime for me? Like, really do the deep work. And you don't have to make any decisions. You don't have to decide anything. All you need to do is begin to question it. And when you question it, it begins to dissolve. When you question it, the universe comes and rushes in with another opportunity. It's important to realize we can't solve the problem at the level of the problem. That's what they quote Einstein with saying. We can't solve the problem. So we have to ask questions and find another level so that we can access solutions, right? Yes, absolutely. Hearing the earth's frequency. So, with that, you all, today is a moon day. Today is the day that the mother governs. Today is the day that you get to be in your inner world with Capricorn energy, breaking down the patriarchal agreements, questioning them. Like I said, we don't have to. The thing that I'm so aware of with the difference of this patriarchal, masculine, hyper masculine energy and what it has done and how feminine energy functions within it. It's like the hyper masculine energy becomes so violent and so, dealing with its ego externally rather than internally. And then it collapses the feminine into a childlike position where the feminine really then behaves like a child, like helpless, right? And so as the feminine comes back into her power, it's really understanding that, we are equal. We have equal power. So we don't need to use our force out with guns and, physical force. We can use our force, our imagination, because that is where our power is. And what do you want to do? Imagine a world that you actually want to be in every day. Every day, spend time imagining a world that you actually desire to be in, because the feminine imagination is the power. Everything that we see externally came from inside. So if we just every day spend some time imagining the world you desire, that is going to win. And we devalue that. We go, oh, that's nothing. And they have no. Imagine those systems collapsed. Imagine those people out of power. Imagine those realities dead. Imagine those realities with no more power, drained of their energy. Imagine that. Imagine that. And the universe will begin to honor that if we can hold that frequency. So that is what we're up to. So I encourage you guys to sign up for new and full moon readings. You can do that at my website, which is moniqueruffin.com, or on my link tree at my on Instagram. And I'm going to do another ritual for the full moon in Taurus on the 19th. So if you sign up, if you register for that, you'll get the updates that I'm sending every few days around how to use the energy and the rituals. And that's it. I'm working out my process, y'all. I'm trying to get clear about how I'm going to move forward. So I'm still in the middle. So just bear with me. All right. Peace and blessings, everyone. I love you all very, very much. Okay, let me see.